Welcome into the CHGO IR Blackhawks postgame podcast.
Oh, we just lost the game already?
So many, Hawks lost.
Hawks scored first, lost 5-1. See you tomorrow.
We're presented by DraftKings Sportsbook.
All right, spin tankathon. Let's go.
America's top-rated sportsbook. Good start, Jay. Download the app and use promo code CHGO when you sign up. I cannot blame bad shrimp. I cannot blame
your knee.
Luke Richardson coughing on me. I'm just bad. I'm just bad at my job.
No. At least you got the sponsor correct. DraftKings.
You know what the
That's
problem
true.
is you can tell I got my hairs cut today, and I failed to change the T-shirt I was wearing.
Oh, no.
So I'm very itchy and very distracted.
That's one of the worst
This is why I don't get haircuts anymore.
It's
that's
wise.
That's
so
why.
I'm very, my friend Jenna did a wonderful job, as she always does, but I am struggling.
That's one of the worst feelings.
I took
Shout
my
out to
shirt
Jenna.
off in the bathroom, and everyone threw up, and then I tried to shake it out a little bit, and
In this bathroom?
yeah,
Where'd you try and shake it out? Just on the floor?
over the toilet.
Oh.
Nothing came out.
All right, so now we got a
I would have cleaned.
So we got a button and Jay's hairs to aim at.
Oh my God!
Did we address the button on the show yet?
I don't think we have, but I
It's
gotta
still
be
there.
honest.
It's still there.
When Greg responded to that Slack message, what about the button? And no one listening knows what the hell we're talking about.
We'll explain it.
laughed out
We can
loud.
explain it. So there is this had to be a month ago at this point.
No,
a
it
while.
was before the holiday party.
Okay,
Multiple-
well before.
a little white button fell into our urinal from someone's
someone's
shirt or whatever,
something.
and it's been there ever since. And as men tend to do, we have made a game of it. We say, "I'll be right back. I'm going to go juggle the button," and it's what we do when we're at the urinal, and just see how long we can make the button dance around. I hope it never goes away.
It's still
Yeah,
there.
it's
The
still
urinal
there.
was even broken and had to be repaired.
Yes.
It's still there.
Yeah, so that's what happened. Yeah, the urinal was
my
broken.
goodness.
The sign was posted, "Do not use."
and my
Greg's
first
response
reply was, "Is the button okay?"
Yeah,
do not
amazing. I
take the
laughed
button.
very much out loud. My wife was like, "Why are you laughing?" I'm like, "Then I gotta explain the button."
It's a white button from a fancy dress shirt, so it's got to be somebody that shares the floor with us. It's definitely not from this office.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
That's
Exactly.
a good call.
Oh, anyway, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate everybody. Make sure you smash that like
Ask
button.
Danny if you listen to button.
If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed as well. If you're a podcast person, that's cool too. Make sure you're subscribed or following or whatever your preferred app tells you to do. And hey, notifications are fun too, because then you know as soon as an episode drops. And as it is the new year, get in a habit. 5-star reviews for all your favorite podcasts.
Yes, please.
And a 4-star review, for the record, is basically a 1-star review. So don't treat it like a restaurant.
Yeah.
If you like a podcast, even if it's imperfect, give it 5 stars and send a nice review.
Thank you.
It's very, very helpful.
Yeah. How many other podcasts are going to lead with a story about a button in your
Juggle
Not
a
many.
button.
Yeah.
Not many.
Juggling the button. Exactly. That's what it's all about.
It's going to be our next CHGO Blackhawks t-shirt, juggling
Yeah.
the button.
So we've got some news. First and foremost, we want to tell everybody, tomorrow we're live at 2:30, but Craig Morgan of PHNX Coyotes will join us at 3 o'clock to preview Friday's game. I know people are looking forward to a crossover, but with the pending Patrick Kane news, which we'll probably get tomorrow, we didn't want to arrange a whole thing and then have to cancel it on him. So Craig will join us at 3 o'clock Thursday. But the big news today, Lukas Reichel is back. Brett Seney is going to make his Blackhawks debut as MacKenzie, Entwistle, and Jujhar Khaira head to injured reserve. This should have happened before last game, quite frankly.
Probably.
Sure.
But it has happened, and it gives us something to watch for the little stretch here. And I think we'll get into it with where they sort of shake out. But for me, I want to see them both in the top 6. Why not?
Yes, why not? Yeah, I mean, if Tyler Johnson and Patrick Kane are both unavailable, which I think if Greg made this point, if Lukas Reichel is here, it's probably because there's a top 6 spot open. So I think either one of those guys may be questionable for Friday's game. Reichel, if he's here, he's playing in the top 6. The Blackhawks have said so numerous times. Luke Richardson just recently, just this weekend, said regarding call-ups, like they're not just calling guys up just to call them up and put them in a position where they're not going to be effective. So in the case of Lukas Reichel, he's most effective playing in your top 6, playing with other skilled offensive-minded guys. So yeah, that will be exciting to see him in the lineup. I have no doubts that if he's here, he's playing. So it'll be exciting to see where he fits in. Seney, he's been great with the IceHogs, leading the team, and I think he leads the league.
Leading the AHL in points.
Leads the league in points.
points.
Like, hey, that's when's the last time an IceHogs player has done that?
They've got 3 of the top 5 in points in the entire league.
It's
right
crazy.
Now.
He's second in the AHL in points.
Second, okay,
Yeah,
second,
But
but still,
send him back.
3 in the top 5, top 6 of scoring. Like
Sending him back.
nice. Seney, David Gust, and Lukas Reichel, like the offense in Rockford has been.
Yeah, and Luke Philp is
on
right
fire.
behind there too.
Yep.
He's on pace with those guys. So yeah,
Luke Philp.
it's been a weird IceHogs year because usually it's like Arvid Soderblom or Colin Delia or Kevin Lankinen has to stand on his head and make 47 saves so they can win 2-1.
Right.
Now
In
it's
overtime.
like we're gonna win 5-4 every night.
Right,
And that's
yeah.
what they've been doing. They won again last night, overtime.
Lukas Reichel,
Against the
overtime
first
winner.
place Texas Stars. Lukas Reichel scored in overtime. He also had the primary assist on the game-tying goal late in the third period, so another multi-point game for him. Reichel's playing in the top 6. Luke Richardson has said that. He's only going to be here when we have a spot in the top 6 open. You could argue that spot's been there the whole season, but so that tells me Patrick Kane's not playing Friday.
Yeah.
And Tyler Johnson probably not either. Entwistle, Jujhar, Khaira, both of their IRs are retroactive to the 27th, so they can come back at any time.
Mm-hmm.
They're eligible to return. So
by this weekend.
right.
Yeah.
So my guess is Seney and Reichel play Friday and then go back to the IceHogs because the IceHogs play Saturday, Sunday in Iowa.
Yeah.
That's my guess because then the Hawks don't play again until Sunday. I would assume, you would get Khaira, Entwistle, maybe Kane will get an update. You would hope Tyler Johnson, if he misses
Yeah.
Friday, will be better by Sunday. I mean,
Right.
that's
That would be a
5
tough.
days to get over whatever virus he's got. I mean,
5
if
days
if it's a stomach bug and you're still emptying out your system, 5 days later, you should probably be in the hospital.
That's a lot of juggling the button.
That sure is.
No, that's
Well, yeah, different kind of
that's
buttons.
the other
burying the button.
burying the
Let's
button.
not get too Let's
Yeah,
not get
that's-
too.
yeah,
Let's not get
that's-
into
yeah.
it. People know what we mean.
That's for a late night post game show, not in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be my guess. Is they're both going to play tomorrow, or Friday, but we'll get a better idea. Tomorrow is going to be an interesting practice. See who's there, who's not there. Get an update. We'll talk to. I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk to Lukas and Brett Seney as well, and then see what kind of lines they have. Friday is going to be an interesting game. For the fact that we're going to have some new faces, and that's kind of all we've been asking for
Yeah.
the last few weeks is
Yeah.
give us something different.
New things
Even
to
if the
watch.
result is the same, at least get there in a different manner.
Yeah,
and it's a huge tank game.
Huge tank game.
it is.
The Coyotes, they are screwing that up big time.
They are. They're kind of what I imagine the Hawks would be next year, or maybe 2 years from now,
Maybe 2
where
years
Maybe
they've
next
got some
year.
young guys here making an impact. They're getting some fun upset wins against good teams, kind of rocking the boat a little bit. Still going to be a really solid draft pick, but fun. I think if you ask most Coyotes fans, and we'll ask Craig tomorrow at 3, are Coyotes fans enjoying what they're seeing? Because when you put the whole thing together with the tiny ass arena, that's kind of fun. The young players making an impact. Logan Cooley's playing well for Team USA. You're watching that. So like we're on the ground floor of the rebuild. They're on the first or second floor of the rebuild.
Sure.
And they're the light at the end of the tunnel is a little bit closer for Phoenix. So it's interesting. I want to let's go back to Reichel though, and I think if we find out that Kane is going to miss some time, 5 games, 10 games, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
Do you keep Reichel here as kind of his replacement?
Absolutely.
I would.
Yeah.
Well, no one else is going to come even close to duplicating his offense.
And just to be clear, I'm saying Johnson's back, Khaira's back, Entwistle's back.
Yeah.
Kane is the only one hurt. I'm keeping Reichel here until Kane's back.
I would do the exact same thing because, like, you're focusing a lot on the IceHogs' success, but if Reichel is up here, there's no reason he can't go back, and if he's here for a long stint, he's going to go back eventually to end the season in the AHL and play in the postseason. Right. And having him up doesn't affect their chances of winning because he's not the only one producing down there. And if Kane's out, you need someone in the lineup to give you some semblance of offensive creativity, even if you're tanking. Like, you need to have something in the lineup that can generate some sort of offense. And Reichel's that kind of guy. So, yeah, I absolutely would have him stick around for however long it would be. Maybe even a few games after Kane came back. Who knows?
Yeah, it's going to be an opportunity for him. And I think what we have going on with Reichel is the constant up and down. It's not really giving him a chance to settle in Chicago at all.
No.
Even last year where he had a longer stretch than he's ever had before, it still isn't enough to find your legs and find your place and find your chemistry. We've seen even longtime NHL players this year get moved from line to line, and it takes them a little bit to settle into their chemistry with their line mates, let alone someone coming from Rockford. I would like to see him get an extended look here. I really would. I don't know if they're going to, but who knows?
And they said before the season, when he's here, that means he's here. Well, when he was first here this season, he was here for 12 hours.
Yeah.
You know, on a emergency call up on the road, go to play the night before in Rockford, then fly out to New Jersey, play a game, and then fly back and play the next night. Like you say you're not going to yo-yo him, and then you do something like that. I don't know. It seems weird, but since they've done that, the notion in my mind of when he's up is out the window. So this stint could be 1 game, it could be 3 games, it could be the rest of the season. Who knows? Like the notion that they were going to keep him up here once he was up here is gone. So now anything's on the table.
Yeah. I think I think in a perfect world they wouldn't have had to call him up for injury replacements, and they would have called him up, saying, okay, he's NHL ready.
Yeah, we can't keep him down anymore.
Right. And,
Which you could even still make that case.
Absolutely. I mean, there's the case that he should have been here since day one this season as well. So, if he wants to stay here and stay in the NHL, it's very easy. Go out there and start producing like you've produced at every other level. Start putting up some points. Start contributing on the score sheet, and make it impossible for them to send you back.
Right.
He'll get an opportunity for top 6. Brendan sent us a super chat. Left or right wing for Reichel? Does he play with Domi or Taves? He's a left-handed shot, so left wing is his natural.
Yeah.
When he hasn't played center in Rockford, he's played left wing, so he'll be a left winger, most likely. So figure out how that slots in. Do you put him? With Tave, Khrushchev can play both wings, I think.
Yeah. I mean, you could
put him in Tyler Johnson's spot.
Yeah, you put him. Well, if Johnson's in the lineup, then you play him there. But if he's not going to take Patrick Kane's spot on the right wing, so yeah, I mean maybe put Domi on the wing and put Reichel in the center and try him out that way.
Maybe.
Like, why not? We're in a position where the Blackhawks, Luke Richardson, he has the leash to just try stuff. Try Lukas Reichel at center for a game. See what happens.
Yeah. Or, I mean, I don't think right wing would be a huge adjustment for him either. I know ideally you want your lefties on the left side.
Right, yeah.
But it's happened before. I don't know. I think the versatility that he provides, there's a lot of possibilities there for him. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't mind seeing him at center. The problem is Domi is so good at faceoffs.
Right.
They don't really want to take him away from that. Taves is doing well there and pretty much nowhere else at the moment.
If only they did something with the faceoffs. But yes,
yeah.
the point.
This
still
is a
stands.
nice offseason topic is like, are we overvaluing faceoffs? We might be overvaluing faceoffs.
No, faceoffs are important. It's what you do after. It's what you do after them. If they were league average at 5-on-5 and winning the faceoffs at the rate that they've been winning this season, they'd be in the playoff spot.
I have to look it up because we've talked in the press box before. The Blackhawks are first in the league in face-off percentage and dead last in the league in goals for per game. Has that ever happened before?
I can't imagine
that ever happening before.
No.
Where you win the most face-offs and you score the fewest amount of goals. Usually,
takes a
the
special
more
roster.
face-offs you win, that takes
An 8-win roster in January, maybe?
Like, Kyle Davidson should get an award for just being able to create
GM
a
of the
team
year.
that can do that. Win the most face-offs and score the least amount of goals. That is incredible that the same team can do that.
It's crazy.
I mean, if the Blackhawks in 2013 had led the league in face-off, they never would have lost a game. They would have gone
Probably
undefeated.
not, yeah.
48-0 and 16-0 in the playoffs. They wouldn't have lost a game.
I would have enjoyed that.
That would have been fun.
would've
They
been
almost
fun.
did
It
that.
was still enjoyable.
They tried. They went almost half the season without
Yeah, no, that's
losing.
great.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So, yeah, I mean,
2013.
remember all those great Stanley Cup years where we were like worried about, man, they don't win enough faceoffs. Who's our third line? Who's our second line center?
Yeah.
The second line center was the like
Black hole.
It was like the Cubs' third base black hole for all those decades after Ron Santo. Like, who's gonna remember the good old days where like we only had one thing to worry about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That was it.
We were upset that the second line center was Michael Hanzus, and he was
Yeah.
putting up 40 points.
Can't believe we
with
traded
Patrick
for this
Kane.
Sammy Paulson guy.
How about being mad, and this is pointing to thumb myself, that Brandon Bollig was playing over Brandon Peary. Like, this is ridiculous.
I know.
Yeah.
Now Brandon Bollig will be your second line winger.
That's, yeah. First world problems.
A bunch of people saying that they hope Reichel stays long term, and we compared it to lines taking time to gel. Just look at Isaac Phillips, from when he began the season here to now, he's finding himself. Right, he's found some consistency to his game. I think things have slowed down a little bit for him. He looks a lot better in the last handful of games than he did. And not that he was ever bad, but you could see early on in the call up that things are happening. He's processing things really quickly now, as opposed to when he first got the call up.
Playing consistently at the NHL level when it's your first handful of games, first taste of the league, that just gives you a boost of confidence. And with Reichel, it's been 4 or 5 total stints in the NHL that have spanned 15 games. Like, he hasn't had anything extended beyond 4, 5, 6 games at a time. So, if he were to come up and be told, all right, you're in the NHL, your plan now is to be with the Blackhawks for however long, for the rest of the regular season, or, we're going to ride you out till March or whatever it is. If he was told that, I think that would make a big difference because, if he's coming in and being told like, oh, you're here for a undisclosed amount of time, then he's likely trying to play without making mistakes. And then when you play that way, it's when it leads to you either making more mistakes or hesitating and not pulling the trigger on, any kind of creativity, offensive chances that he can create, which clearly, if you've watched him throughout his development path, he's a very good. He's got a great shot. He's got really good playmaking ability. He really plays well with and off of his teammates. Like, he can do it. I think he's just got to be told, go do it. Like, go be you.
Yeah.
To take from a former Bears coach.
Having the head coach trust you goes a long way for a young player. I don't think Reichel has gotten that yet. Obviously not, because every time he's been here, it's been, hey, we're going to shelter you. We're going to play you out of your normal position. We'll give you 8 minutes, whatever, then send you back. Where Phillips, there's no one looking over his shoulder. He was here. Jared Tenorti's out. He's not coming back anytime soon. This is your shot. And he took advantage of it. And it's obvious that the coaching staff, Kevin Dean, who runs the defense, and Luke Richardson trust Isaac Phillips.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way for a young player when look at Philip Kershev. He gets a head coach that obviously trusts him, and he's slowly progressing.
Yeah.
Like
He looks better than he did last year.
Yeah, he's not putting up
for
a
sure.
ton.
Yeah.
He's confident. He's he's not worried about messing up and getting healthy scratched. You know, last year he had no defined role on this team. Now he's, for the most part, you're a top 6 guy. You're going to get some power play time. We need you to be one of our offensive creators out there. And, you know, he doesn't have the points that you would hope that he would have, but he's creating more chances. He's getting more confidence. And, you know, I asked him early in the season, like, hey, how, like, it's noticeable that it seems that the game slowed down a tick for him. Like, he's able to take that extra beat on the ice and look for the passing lane to open or make that extra move to create some space, where before he would get the puck and it was like he could hear like the hand grenade about the pin's been pulled. I got to get rid of this. And I asked him, how much does that go in the effect of knowing that, like, you've got a leash now? Like, the coaching staff says, this is your spot, whatever. And he said it goes a long way to playing better. And I don't think Lukas Reichel has had that yet, because he's never had been in the spot where, like, you're on this team.
Yeah.
You're an permanent NHL player right now. Not you're an NHL player today, but tomorrow you're back in the AHL. I think he needs that to be like, you're here, you're playing you're our top line left winger to the end of the season. Go.
Well, remember, Luke said that about, it might have been about Reichel specifically, but he said about some prospect that these guys have to know when they come up to the NHL, they are NHL players.
He said it about Reichel.
They don't need to defer. Yeah. They don't need to change their game. Come up and do what got you to this point. And I'm looking at Reichel's game logs here, and the longest stint he's had of consecutive games is 6 at the end of last season. April 7th through April 18th, there was a 6-game stretch in there. Then it was 2 in January, 3 in February before that, and, of course, the 1 game this year. Yeah. So, yeah, you need some time to play. And when you look at the time on ice,
it's got to be under
9:19, 12:05, 10:19. There was 1 game against the Kings where he played 15:17, but 12:12, 15:04, 8:34. Like, if he's going to be here, he's got to be here and do his thing. And I think that the fact that Kane's out and Johnson potentially, they're sort of forced to put him on the ice because they don't really have anybody else that can fill that role. So maybe they're sort of stumbling into some success for Lukas Reichel. And look, I don't think that we're going to see a 3-point night from him Friday by any means. And I want to stress to our viewers and listeners, like, patience with this kid, because he is coming up in a bad situation. Like, we talk about, well, he's not really scoring. Well, let's go through the Blackhawks roster, right? And who is scoring? Patrick Kane has 20 points.
And this is 27. Through 37 games, right?
27 points in 37 games.
Yeah, it's not Patrick Kane-esque at all.
And that's your best scorer.
Yeah.
That's, so if that guy's not putting up points on this team, you can't expect Lukas Reichel to come up here and light things up, because no one's doing that.
No, and I think, he's being brought into a situation clearly the offense is struggling. If he's put into the lineup and been told, like, hey, like, go out there and create some stuff for us, like, that's a vote of confidence. That's something that you can tell a young player, like, go focus on the best thing that you do. And I think that could do wonders for him, for his confidence and for his development, because he's coming into an opportunity where you can give him that role. What is there to lose?
Right.
What's the difference?
They might lose the game.
Well, yeah. Well, you can't you can't go further than 32nd in the league. So what does it matter? Like, if he goes out there and tries to be offensive minded, tries to be a play driver, a play creator, like, there's nothing wrong with going out and trying to do that. And if he goes out and he's stick handling, trying to feed passes, like, go out there and make those mistakes. Go out there and learn at the NHL level. And if you go out there and you play with some confidence and know that, if you make one bad pass or one turnover, you're not going to get benched for the next period, like, you can learn from that and you can go out there and try it again. And then when it works, boom, stock goes up. Your confidence goes up. Like that's a big deal. What you look at how he plays when he's in Rockford, where it's like you are top line Lukas Reichel, you are one of the leaders of this team. You watch him play in Rockford, and he looks like a different player.
Yeah,
like you see the confidence, and I know the competition level is different.
Sure,
but like it's just the confidence level of a 20-year-old kid. If it's high, like you're gonna see some things happen.
I want to remind everybody about the early days of Teuvo Teravainen's career in Chicago. He came in with all this hype. He came in as a first-round pick. He was supposed to be like the next great Blackhawk.
He's a lot like Reichel.
Yes, he's a lot like Reichel, and it didn't happen overnight for Teuvo. And simply did not. I'm looking at his rookie year, which is 2013. Well, that's a bad one. 2014, 2015 was like really his first year. It took him 5 games to get a point. He had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
that
7,
regular
8,
season
9,
he
10,
had
3 points in his first 10 games.
That regular season he had like 9 points in like 35 games or something, and then in the postseason started to make a name for himself there, and during the 2015 run. But yeah, like he was not jump in the lineup, point per game kind of guy. It took time.
Yeah,
and it was with a coach that wasn't too historically fond of giving young players a big role and a long leash. So I think if Luke Richardson, he seems to be really good at pushing the right buttons and knowing how players respond. I would like to believe that he can put Reichel into a situation where he will eventually succeed.
Boy, Teuvo is a really interesting comparison. Left wing, kind of played some center when he came up.
Center wing from Europe.
Undersized, European, sort of soft-spoken.
Played in the AHL as a teenager.
Yeah.
I mean, and their games are a little similar, but I'm not saying Lukas Reichel needs to become the Teuvo Teravainen that he's become in Carolina.
That would be fine.
But it would be fantastic if he did that.
I don't care with that. But as you mentioned earlier, Mario, about the way he plays in Rockford, how that we need to get him to play that way in Chicago, because he knows he's the guy down there. I mean, especially last season. This season there's other options on that team, but he's still performing well, and he's still over a point per game. And it's just like he comes here and he's kind of like, well, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. I don't want to ruffle any feathers, whatever cliche you want to use, but it's a real thing where he's a little maybe gun shy, a little doesn't want to, whatever it is. But as Richardson said, if you're in the NHL, you're an NHL player. Don't defer to other NHL players. So
here's my thing on that. Like, if Lukas Reichel comes in and scores like 4 points, are there gonna be guys in the locker room that are like, "How dare you come and assert yourself in?"
No, they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, we won a game!"
Right? Yeah. Like, was Cody Whitehair mad at Justin Fields the first time he lit it up? Like, that's a ridiculous concept. But I understand these kids like, I don't want to come in and showboat or whatever. Screw that, man. Do your thing.
It's a hockey locker room thing.
Yeah.
Where, you don't want to be the brash kid and then not live up to it. But if you can do that and then live up to it, like you're gonna be a locker room favorite.
Yeah. Alton says, is it too early to get a Reichel jersey? I would just hold off on getting any Hawks jersey for now.
Yeah.
Maybe a Korchinski.
If you want to spend your money, spend your money.
Or just wait until the draft.
I'm not gonna, you can listen to our bets or not. You can buy jerseys or not. You be a fan how you want. You want to get a Reichel jersey, you go out and get yourself a Reichel jersey.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put right in ink that he's going to be here for the next decade. But they've got no problem giving away number 27. So if he's gone in 2 years,
you have a Boquist jersey. You can take it to
or you can always
local
turn
retailer.
You can always turn it into a Ronick jersey.
They'll restitch it.
There you go.
Doesn't follow out. Yeah,
it's weird to see a Reichel 27 on an old Nike jersey.
But my advice, if you're looking for a long-term Blackhawks jersey right now, is
Connor Bedard.
Wait till the draft. Wait till they get Connor Bedard. Get your 98 jersey, or get a legendary jersey.
That's what I'm telling you. I said that before. Just
get a
the
timeless
Dennis Savard
jersey.
jersey.
Dennis Savard.
Always number 18.
Get a Doug Wilson 24.
There
Don't
you
see
go.
too many of those.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's timeless. Dirk
And-
Graham 33.
And while you're there, get a wig so you get that Doug Wilson.
Yeah.
The hair helmet.
Get the
Some of us
perm
don't- Some
wig.
of us don't need that.
Oh,
You don't have
the
the
hair
curls
flip.
though. You're gonna have to
Yeah.
do.
Hey, I can go to a blowout bar.
Okay.
We're
I'd
supposed
like
we're
to.
supposed-
I'd like to see
We're
that.
supposed to do that with Casey. We're supposed
yeah.
to do a blowout bar.
Oh,
When's
that's-
our
what happened to that?
blowout
Forgot
bar
about that,
appointment? All right.
She says whenever you want.
At
All
the same
kinds of
time,
Whatever you
Met.
want.
meanwhile, we juggle the button. That's the show. We got a really nice question
Still
in the
better
chat.
than any Blackhawks game this season.
We got a good question in the chat from our buddy Steve we're going to get to on the other side. And thanks to Brandon Sikora
Steve.
for another super chat saying Mitchell and Phillips look pretty good. Yeah, they should play while they're here. That's for damn sure. But first, we want to tell you about our friends at ComEd, and they're trying to save you money with the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program. It's committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve manage energy usage and lower energy bills now and into the future. ComEd offers a wide array of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across their territory. So if you're fat, skinny, tall, short, customers of all sizes can be helped. Customers can inquire about how to upgrade outdated lighting to energy and money-saving efficient LED lights. Learn more about network lighting to operate your lights through your mobile device and track your facility's energy usage and more. Incentives have recently increased for indoor, outdoor lighting, and networked lighting controls, making these projects even more cost-effective than before. Visit comed.com/poweringbiz now to start saving money and energy. And to start a project, contact them at 855-433-2700. For more info, email businessee@comed.com or publicsectoree@comed.com.
Got a question from our fan favorite Region Rev. Was Hossa wearing a button down when he was in office? He was not.
No, he was not.
And if he was,
I
that
would
button
retrieve
would
that
be
button.
treated
That
with
button-
much more respect than it is
Button
right
would
now.
have been Lawrence would have retrieved that button already.
What? Now why me? You would have beat me to it. Come on.
He's wearing a sky blue
I know. It's
Henley.
the image is like just burned into my.
I'm pretty sure that was
My Twitter
Pretty sure
profile.
that was a cashmere
Yeah.
shirt.
Oh yeah, that was definitely like a cashmere sweater.
That was like a
situation.
$300
This shirt costs
shirt,
more than your life. Is that the shoes in Tommy Boy? These shoes are worth more than your life. Yeah, he's probably right. Marion Hossa's like outfit. I don't know if we could
He
pay
was-
for it with a year's salary.
No, he was wearing a more than a paycheck. For
Yeah,
sure.
his casual hanging out in a puck, his outfit was more than I
Yeah, I
did in my
believe
2 weeks.
the shoes were Givenchy or something, right? Weren't they some
bless
sort
you.
of? Exactly.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
They're very
they look like
European.
the shoes that you buy in a store that is very expensive.
That you have to ring the bell to get
Yes.
in.
Yeah,
Security
they-
has
they
to
let you
The
in.
one when you go to the outlet mall, it's still like $500. You're like,
Fashion
why is this
outlets.
at an outlet mall? Yeah, the one in Rosemont.
Well, it's the
yeah.
outlet from the main store, which is
Yeah,
worth millions of dollars.
sure.
I don't know. I don't go to the fashion outlets. I know they exist, but I don't go there. As you can tell.
You look great. Come on.
But this fashionable
game.
CHGO shirt, sweater, hoodie, whatever you want to call it, you can find it at chgolocker.com.
That's true.
You can also find the best deals on tickets to any kind of show or sporting event that your heart can desire through the Game Time app. What is Game Time? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's the hottest new ticketing site that makes it easier than ever to score the best deals on tickets to sports, concerts, and shows. Have you ever dreamed of sitting in a seat you never thought you could? If you haven't, what kind of sports fan are you? You could sit at the 50-yard line or courtside or behind home plate or right up on the glass. Just don't bang it. It's possible with the Game Time app. They have the biggest last-minute price drops that can be found on seats you never thought you could buy. You're not going to find a better deal this season on tickets to Blackhawks games or Bulls games or Bears games or later this summer, baseball tickets. You're going to find all the best deals on Game Time. And if you think you can find a better deal on another site, you can't. But if you do, you can bring it to Game Time, and they will match that price. That is how much that they want to make sure that you are getting the best deals through them. And as you see on the screen here, Friday night, the Yotes are in town taking on the Blackhawks. Good prices to be had for butt-in-the-seat ticket. If you love CHGO, you'll love Game Time. The best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in the description. And when you do that, you're going to be joining over 15 million people who have downloaded the Game Time app and have scored the best seats to all of your favorite events.
Look at all the people in those seats.
Look at all the people.
I
in
don't know when
those
they took that
seats.
photo.
That
but-
must
Hey, you
have
know
been
what? It
hosting
was
night.
18,000 last
If
night.
you look at the ice right there. It's
Yeah.
got the Stanley Cup playoff logo right there. That's not a recent
Nice.
photo.
That is an,
This is not black and
an
white.
older
I might
photo.
be there.
By the way, the game on Sunday against the Calgary Flames, $11 gets you in the building on game time. Go see a glorious uniform game. Those
Yeah,
Calgary roads.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
those will look
And
nice.
maybe Jonathan Huberto will crap his pants again. You never know.
Maybe.
Him and Tyler
You never
Johnson
know.
can go sit in the corner.
Him and Tyler
poke each other.
Johnson can it'll be like that scene from Family Guy when him and Michael Moore go into the bathroom.
There you go. Let's go find that Scott's question there.
The Scott.
It was up a little bit.
Steve.
Scott there.
The
Steve.
Steve.
I'm sorry.
The Steve from
He is
Scotland,
Steve
I
from
think.
Scotland. Therefore, I call him the Scott. So technically, I was correct. He said, so it's been a while of Kyle Davidson. Do we trust him yet?
I don't distrust him.
Can we trust him?
That's tough. I think it's too early to declare Kyle Davidson good GM.
Right.
I think what we see compared to the last guy,
Stan Smallman.
there is a plan beyond this year.
Yeah.
There are some nads involved in the moves he's made. He is willing to be unpopular. My criticisms would be I feel like he's a little late on the call-ups and maybe a little too conservative about Rockford guys. Like, hey, if someone's hurt, call somebody up. It's not the end of the world to disrupt the IceHogs, right?
Yeah.
And I think we all agree we were hoping for more for DeBrincat. So I think for me personally, the jury is still out. However, I'm confident that his plan is sound. Whether or not they get Bedard or Fantilli, whether or not those guys pan out to what we think they're going to be, whether or not the prospects they have right now develop remains to be seen. But there is definitely a plan that's very clear to see if you look. So to me, that's a good start. And now we got to wait and see.
Yes, the foundation is there for him to be a good NHL general manager. But he's only really had one phase of this so far, and that's the draft.
This deadline is going to be
Well,
huge.
and the
he
dra-
was
and the
he was
deadline
interim GM
right.
last season for
But
the majority of the season.
So far,
Yeah.
he's focusing on restocking the prospect cupboard, and he's done a good job. You go from 0 first-round picks to 3. He's got at least 4 more over the next 2 drafts. Very good start. But how is he when it comes to trying to build? He's very good at building a roster that's going to be garbage. How is he going to be? How is he going to be to build a roster when it's time to win?
Yeah.
It's very
Yes.
easy to construct the worst team in the league. It's hard to construct a Stanley Cup champion when you have
Yeah.
to find those right guys. He who shall not be named, for all the criticism he gets, he did have a knack of finding that perfect role player to plug in. Your Brad Richardsons, bringing Christopher Stieg back. Getting guys like that is not as easy as it looks.
Vermette,
Yeah.
Oduya, he did it year. Even Hanzus, he did it year
Just
after year.
He had that knack of finding that one veteran that fit is exactly what they were missing.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get to that point with Kyle Davidson. But he's off to a really good start. So do I trust him? I don't distrust him.
I trust the plan.
Yes, he's got a plan. Now we got to see him work. So let's see how this draft class is. Let's see when we start getting some of these guys to the NHL level, or if maybe none of them get to the NHL. Like, let's see how the development goes. Obviously, he's preaching patience, maybe a little too much in some cases, but we'll see how that goes. But how is he going to come down when it's time to negotiate for one of the big free agents? Is he going to swing and miss? Is he going to give everybody a goddamn no trade clause, no movement clause? Like, no.
It's like the Oprah gif.
Is he going to get creative?
You get a no movement clause.
Is he going to get creative in some of these contracts when it's time to like start worrying about the Stanley Cup, or the salary cap, So we've only seen a small portion of what an NHL GM has to do.
Yeah.
And so far, so good. Are there things that we could criticize? Absolutely. But overall, big picture, he's doing exactly what this franchise needs. The plan is good. Let's see if the execution follows.
And I think to the point of how will he be when this team eventually is ready to contend again, I think one thing that I trust in in thinking that like he'll be able to figure things out the right way is since he's been GM, he's had a player type and characteristics that he's looking for, and you saw it in turning Alex Nylander into Sam Lafferty. Small deal, but an improvement. You look at his draft class. Every guy that he picked had some combination of size, speed, high compete level, high character. Like he definitely has as they say, he has a type. And I think those are guys that, if he's good at identifying those characteristics and those traits in players, it'll be really interesting to see how he goes through another draft class and goes through another free agency class, where next summer's free agency class and the summer after in 2024, there's going to be a lot of interesting players available, and there's going to be a lot of money for him to spend. So it's going to be very interesting to see how he approaches those free agency periods, and I think that can give us a better barometer of what he'll do down the road. And the other thing I like about Kyle Davidson is that he is not focused on him alone making those decisions. He has brought in Norm McIver, he's got Jeff Greenberg, and he's got a plethora of other assistant GMs that he can consult with scouting, with organizational management, like just different. It's not just I'm the be all end all. I'm Kyle Davis. He's got a team. He's got a team he's working with.
There's very little ego there, which is something I can appreciate. That could change over time. Success can go to some people's heads. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a collaborative effort in the front office right now, and I think that's why this past draft class was as good as it was, is because he's not just saying this is my guy, I'm going to prove you wrong. He's listening to his scouts, he's listening to his staff. They kind of have an idea of who they want, and they're going out and getting that type of player.
Yeah, early returns on his first big momentous dealing in the rebuild is the draft. Early returns on that draft class are looking pretty good.
Right, and his early returns on the trade market, for the most part, have been really good. You could argue that didn't get enough for DeBrincat, but 1 year DeBrincat is not as worth as much as 3 years of cost-controlled Brendan Hagel on the market. Sure. You can only trade for what the market is giving you. Yeah. You can't negotiate with what's not there. But overall, his trades have been pretty darn good. I mean, getting the 13th overall pick for Kirby Dach, nobody thought that he was going to get a first rounder for him, and he got Frank Nazar for Kirby Dach and a third-round pick.
He turned Riley Stillman into a third-line NHL player in Jason Dickinson and a second-round pick. Yeah. Riley good. Stillman.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you can get when you're the team that can help people get out of a salary cap crunch. And that's a topic we're going to have here shortly. There's going to be a lot of that coming.
There's going to be teams that need to make room for other moves, and there's going to be teams that need to make room just to be cap compliant by the time the deadline comes.
We were talking about the Florida Panthers last night. They've got Anthony Duclair and Patrick Hornquist on injured reserve. They literally can't come back.
Yeah.
Florida, with those guys on injured reserve, are cap tapped.
Yeah.
So, and they're not the only team like that, right? A lot of teams are going to be having to make moves.
And missing the playoffs.
Yeah, they're bad.
Way to go, Bill Zito.
If I did the math correctly, I think it's a 40. They're on pace for a 42-point swing from last year to this year.
But it was Andrew. They had
it's
to
like Chicago weather, my friend.
They had to get rid of Andrew Burnett. Hey, a team that was once long overseen by Dale Talon having salary cap problems? No.
Would have thunk it.
Weird.
One thing, Mario, you mentioned about how Davidson has like a certain type of player. One thing I've wondered, and maybe I've asked this before on the show, or maybe I just said it to myself in the shower when I was juggling a bean. I don't know. Juggling a button. Juggling a bean is a different thing.
Oh, my God.
Did he find those guys because he knew that Lafferty's and Dickinson's and those types would not bitch and moan during a rebuild? Right? Bring in guys who have high character, good locker room guys, high compete level guys that are never really going to turn it off.
Sure. Yeah.
Or is that just the kind of guy he likes? I don't know if that's what he likes, cool. I would love guys that are ultra competitive. That's never a bad thing.
Right. Yeah.
But I wonder how that, when it comes time to win again, is he still going to prioritize that as much as he's doing now? I don't know.
I think part of it was maybe trying to match the kind of coach he wanted to get as well, trying to match the kind of temperament that he envisions in a coach. Derek King said it yesterday before the game because Luke Richardson was sick. So Derek King spoke after morning skate. Richardson's temperament through this rebuild, through these losses, is a positive for this locker room because it would be very easy to, and we talked about this on a show recently, be very easy to, after every period, after every loss, run into the locker room, flip tables, throw things around, and lose your mind over every little thing. And Derek King said, like, there are coaches out there that would not be handling this rebuilding process, these losses, as well as Richardson is doing, and kind of, keeping the locker room together through this process as well. So I think Davidson probably, in his grand scheme, knew he was going to need a coach that could keep a locker room together, and knew he was going to need players that would be able to kind of follow that mentality and be able to gel with the coach and kind of have that similar mindset as difficult times were coming up. And I think, Sam Lafferty, Jason Dickinson, those are guys that have that mentality and that compete level. They just don't have the skill level to be, those high-end difference makers that competitive teams and contending teams have. But I think down the line, you can find guys that have those same temperament, that have those skills, can be those difference makers, and also positive influences in the locker room. It's just not the time now in the rebuilding process for the Blackhawks to try and go out and get those players, because if you're rebuilding, those players are less likely to be enticed to come and play for a rebuilding team.
Yeah, is your original question there, Jay, about these types of players? I think a lot of that had to do with, let's get a room full of guys that have that high compete level, don't necessarily have the talent, but so we could literally have that post-game show like, hey, they're trying hard, they're just
right.
Like, he knew that he wanted to lose as many games as possible, so at least put a team out there that's trying to win.
Yeah.
But they're not going to win a lot of games. Even if they try their hardest every night, they're still going to have 8 wins here in January. Yeah. But you can give the appearance that, hey, look, they're trying really hard, and it's been working. Like, it's been working really well. So
he wanted players who were ready to work.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the ad campaign is, look how hard we're trying.
Yep.
Or putting in
We've
the
got
work.
a roster full of Andres Nocioni on skates.
Yeah.
Guy. All-time favorite bull.
I love Nocioni.
See?
He was the best.
It's been, 15 years since the dude has set foot, and people still love him. So
He is the most hockey-like bull of all time. Maybe that's why I like him so much.
Hockey-like bull.
Actually, I think Joakim Noah passed him up as my favorite bull ever. I mean, aside from Jordan, of course.
I love Joe.
Yeah.
But Noah was pretty
This
fun.
guy on the wall here has got a good case, too.
Derek Rose?
Yeah, Derek Rose.
Or shirtless dark guy. Out there.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Was he on the
It's
Bulls?
too cold.
He should have been out yesterday. It was balmy.
Yeah, he could have been.
Not
Would've
as balmy
noticed
as
the
it should have
smoke
been,
through all
though.
the fog.
I was sold on my weather app 3 days ago that it was going to be like 63, and I was like, this is going to be great.
Sometimes it's better to go outside than
And it
to
was-
look at your phone.
I
and
left
look at
home
what it's
yesterday
like.
and my car said
was like-
65.
Really?
Yep.
The garage must have been 60.
I do not. I have a garage, but it's more for storage than anything.
It's full of old hockey jerseys.
Oh, it used to be until a chipmunk chewed him up. I had a Patrick Kane Winter Classic jersey in there, and I took it out, and the entire
It's a tough loss.
crest, the red thread was all chewed out, pulled out.
Somewhere there's a really stylish chipmunk nest.
There's a Blackhawks themed nest somewhere in my garage.
Or he's a freaking Red Wings fan. Stupid
Actually, I
chipmunk.
found that chipmunk in a folding table in my garage. Like all summer, there were a bunch of flies in my garage. I couldn't figure it out.
Oof.
So on Thanksgiving, I go to get the table out and I open it, and a chipmunk skeleton falls out of the.
a mummified
That's what you get
chipmunk.
for eating my jersey, jerk.
Yikes.
It was gross.
That is nasty.
It was definitely gross. I wiped it down. We had Thanksgiving dinner.
That's
It
the
was
kids'
fine.
table
That's
anyway.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Fourth worst thing those kids touched that day.
That's for damn sure. Oh, man. Hey, hockey fans, I know, Lawrence, we got to talk you down, man. You got to stay the course on the
very angry.
DraftKings. I know 3 in a row the Hawks have scored first, but you're going to be okay if you keep riding that bet. The opponent scores first. And the way to do that is with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. New customers, you can bet just $5 pregame money line on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. And if that wasn't enough excitement, you can turn those small bets into bigger payouts with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets like which team will win, how many goals will be scored, and more for your shot in an even bigger payout. So that's what we're talking about,
Jay,
right?
how can I get more money in my DraftKings account if I keep losing this stupid bet in the last 3 games?
It's 3. I am confident that if you keep playing this,
I know you keep talking about how it's a marathon, not a sprint, but I got to get to the mile 26.
Well, here's the thing. They've been giving up the first goal of the season about 70% of the time.
Correct.
So that's 3 in a row where they've scored the first goal. So if they're going to stick to that trend, that means they're giving up the first goal in the next 7 games in a row.
Oh, now I like the sound of that.
The numbers don't lie.
it's science.
It is science.
60% of the time,
do
it
it.
works every time.
Yeah, so if you've not
know
yet,
what that means.
download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code CHGO. Bet $5 on any NHL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with the code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Lawrence, stick with it. Keep the faith.
Fine.
We would not steer you wrong.
And-
Intentionally, anyway.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not on purpose. Hey, if you're winning over there at the DraftKings and you want to...
Draft King.
Well, we're in Chicago. It's the DraftKings.
If it already has an S, though, you take it off, right?
The Drafts King.
Drafts King. There you go. That's what it is. That's true.
So you're winning over there on the Drafts King. You can take some of that money and get yourself some really cool looking sunglasses. We're talking about Shady Rays, my favorite, and yours as well. They never understood why sunglasses were so dang expensive, so they went out and they changed it. You don't have to break the bank for quality sunglasses this winter because our friends at Shady Rays have you and those eyeballs covered. Shady Rays are premium polarized shades featuring world-class optical clarity, substantial durability, and styles cater to everyone and every lifestyle. Best part about Shady Rays, it's that crazy, insane protection program that we've been talking about. If you lose or break your shades on day one, they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. Did you lose them off the ledge over here while smoking a dart with shirtless dart guy? Well, doesn't matter. Shady Rays will replace them for free.
Did you drop them into the urinal while you were juggling the button?
Well, I don't
You
know.
need to replace those.
Those, just throw them in a dishwasher. You'll be all right. I don't know if that's replaceable, but, you know.
If you melt them in the dishwasher,
There
they'll
you go.
replace
Then
them.
they'll
Yes.
replace them.
Yes.
Keep your button and your Shady Rays apart. That's my advice. Where the hell am I on this thing? even with that strong of a protection program, they still managed to make quality that I could tell you for wearing them for the last couple of years is they are just as good, if not better, than any of those expensive pairs on the market. Shady Rays will also provide 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every purchase and have donated over 20 million meals to date. They stand
ham
behind their
sandwiches.
product, and they told our team that if anyone has a problem, they throw profit out the giant test window at the Shady Rays factory. It's right out the window, into the streets, and they will do whatever it takes to get it right. Free returns and exchanges. You either love your Shady Rays, or they will pay for you to ship them back. That's it. And an exclusive deal for our lovely CHGO listeners. Use the promo code CHGO at checkout, and you will get 50% off any order for 2 or more pairs at ShadyRays.com. That's buy one, get one free in my world. You can get 2 pairs of awesome sunglasses for as low as $54. Redeem only at ShadyRays.com, where you can find all their newest and best shades.
All right, now that we're about to wrap the show up, we can tell you Sweden and Czechia are playing right now in the World Junior Championship. Sweden with a 1-0 lead in the third period. Team USA and Canada play at 5 o'clock, in the semifinal. You're not going to want to miss that one. And we got a question in the chat from our buddy Chuckle Mucko. Does it look like Leo Carlson's draft stock is going up? To me, he's been the number 3 pick for a while, it seems. Or at least he's definitely in the conversation.
I think he's the number 3 guy now. And I don't know if I put as much of that in the stock of his play, which he's been playing great.
Yeah.
He's been a top 5 consideration, top 4 consideration, basically this entire season. I think enough people have brought up some questions and concerns about Matvei Michkov's status with his KHL contract that that stock is slipping a little bit. I don't think he's going to fall outside of 4 or 5. I think there will be a team. Maybe it's the Coyotes, where it's a team that they have some time to kind of wait for him to be available.
Wait to come till we get in a Rio Arena.
Yeah, right. Like, hey, don't worry. You're not going to play in front of 5,000 people. You'll play in the brand new arena, and fans will have something to look forward to. So maybe that's the case. But yeah, Carlson I think has jumped into number 3. Just because of his availability, and of course, he's size, skill down the middle. Like, you don't see that often from a European teenager playing the way that he has in the European professional leagues.
I don't know if he's the 3rd most talented player in this draft. I think Michkov is.
Michkov is more talented, but
if Michkov was Canadian, they might be 2.
Yeah,
he'd be making an argument for 1.
Yeah.
So
at least 2.
Yeah.
Not, by the way, that I'm not saying it's a cultural thing. I'm saying it's a
if he was
uncertainty about the contract.
Readily
thing.
available
Yeah.
to play in your
Right.
organization.
Yes.
Yeah. If it was like, hey, you're going to leave juniors and play for us next season, he'd be number 2. He'd be ahead of Fantilli.
Yeah.
So I think whoever gets picked 3rd is going to depend on what team is there.
Yeah.
Where we know it's Bedard, Fantilli 1 and 2. That 3rd pick is going to where that draft gets crazy.
How would you guys feel if draft night and the Hawks have 3 and they take Michkov?
I'd be fine with that.
I would be.
I would
initially disappointed
because we have at least one
I
more
don't
first round
wait.
pick.
I would have
I don't want to wait.
Yeah. I think I'd have
I
think I'd have a Korchinski reaction where it's just like, okay, like and the Korchinski reaction wasn't for his skill. It was okay. We thought we were going to come in and get a changing forward, and we went with a defenseman. I think he's maybe right now the best prospect that they have on the books. But I think if they somehow end up with 3rd and they go Michkov, it's going to be like, okay, like that's you used a lottery ticket to get yourself another lottery ticket. Like, all right, I would have to be maybe a little bit more enthused about what they do with the rest of their first round.
Yeah, if they didn't
picks.
have 3 picks last year and they didn't have at least one more this year in the first round, I'd probably be a little more irritated by it. But considering he's going to be one of at least 5 first-round picks in 2 years, it's okay.
If I'm Kyle Davidson and I get 3, I am trading 3 and whatever the Tampa pick is
To get 2.
Or
absolutely. 100%.
whatever. Honestly, not whatever it takes, but within reason.
Yeah, it just kind of comes down to do the teams that land 1 and 2 have any desire to give up 1 or 2? I think whoever lands first
No, there's no way
drafts Connor Bedard. I think if you land 2, you probably still just take Adam Fantilli, right? Unless you come to me with, like you said, 3 and 15 and then maybe there's a discussion. But I don't know if many teams want to do that.
If there's a team, though, that, let's say a GM has foresight, unlike,
Sure.
and says, okay, we're, because there's a couple teams that can jump up that are on the playoff level because of trades and stuff like that. Like if they say, like, okay, 5 years from now, we're going to want to restock this pool a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And Michkov makes sense for them at 3. They might be willing to wait. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
We have a long time to talk
Let's
about that.
hope that they're not in that situation. and
Yeah,
it's
I
just,
would
hey,
rather
here's
them
Connor Bedard.
just be number 1.
By the way, on the heels of our Kyle Davidson conversation, I know the Hawks are watching. It's an off day. It's a gloomy day. The line at Graziano's is too long. You're definitely watching our broadcast right now. We want Kyle Davidson in studio. I want to talk to him.
Yeah.
Because one thing I want to know, and one thing I've given him credit for, you just mentioned it, the Korchinski-Nazar thing. We all wanted Nazar where they picked Korchinski, and then they ended up getting Nazar too. I want to know, did he know or have some info that told him Nazar's still going to be there when we pick there, but Korchinski might go? I want to get some insight into that draft process.
Maybe. There's
Because
plenty of questions that we could.
I want to
ask
find
Kyle
out
Davidson.
if he was as smart or if it was luck.
It's probably a little of both.
Yeah, right.
You got to have luck in any
Probably
of
a
these
little bit of
drafts,
both,
but
yeah.
probably a little bit of both.
Yep.
He probably had some feelers out there on, hey, who do we think this guy's going to take here at 10 or whatnot. But I just want to end the show when we officially wrap up. I now, because of my little Paula Cole reference, I can end the show on a joke and send everybody home happy.
Because we've been so serious today.
Yeah, this has been a tough show. It's
Oh,
been
it's
a tough one
gloomy.
to get through.
Hawks have 8 wins. Let's end on a joke.
Remember when I said juggle the bean? That was good.
Oh my God, you brought it
Good
back
one.
up. Oh jeez, that's the callback we didn't need.
Yeah, that was rough. Anyway, if I'm still employed tomorrow, we'll talk to you at 2:30. Live at 2:30, we'll have all the reaction from Hawks practice, and at 3 o'clock, we're going to talk to Craig Morgan of PHNX Coyotes. Always a great guest, always super insightful. On your way out, smash that like button for us. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. If you're listening on the podcast app, make sure you're subscribed or following. And chances are, if you're listening to this, you have a friend that also enjoys hockey and or the Blackhawks. Let them know. Let them know about CHGO Blackhawks. Let them know about CHGO Sports, because Chicago sports is life, and you don't get better coverage of it anywhere but here. So check it out, allchgo.com. Upgrade your membership, become a diehard, all that great stuff. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 2:30 on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.